Welcome to the Sin Bin Podcast, your home for all the news, analysis, and discussion around your Bloomington Bison.
Let's drop the puck and get started.
Welcome back to the Sin Bin Podcast, episode 19, as Buster tries to walk over my computer here. Welcome back. Finally, it's only been 2.5 months since the last episode. Sorry about that. What I find the most funny, Mike, is that at the end of last episode, we were I think a week or two late. Last episode, and we were like, "Oh man, we were late this time, guys. We'll make sure to let you know if we're going to be late again."
It got worse.
And then we took a 2.5 month hiatus without saying anything. So clearly, we're doing great at our promises.
We're trying. We're really trying.
Clearly, we are sticking to our promises. No, we've both been really busy and haven't really had time. We both thought the other was more busy while we were ourselves busy. It was a whole thing the past few months, Christmas and holidays and all that fun stuff. But we're finally ready to start getting back into the swing of things. I don't know if I can do it every week still, depending on what our schedules look like.
How about this?
But
there's an easy way to tell when there's a new episode.
Yeah.
Hit the bell icon on the YouTube page, and you'll get notified. So then you don't have to be like, "Hey, Michael, we still doing the podcast?" Yeah, we're still doing it. Just hit the bell icon. You'll know.
Yeah. Sorry again for how long this one took. It's just craziness. And so for the makeup. It's been 2.5 months. We're gonna recap every single game that we've missed in a lightning round. So get ready, really quick. We're gonna
buckle your
start.
seatbelt.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a fun one. First game, I'm gonna get I'm gonna get set up here because this is gonna be a second. All right, okay. So the first game was on November 19th, Bloomington at the Indy Fuel. They won 4-1. Gavlis scored the first goal, and Tedesco, no longer on the team, scored the second. Nikita Sedov scored his second goal at the time, and then Matsushima scored all in a row, all in the first to make it 4-0. They ended up winning 4-1. So that was the first game we missed.
Pure dominance,
and that was at Indy too, so that was great. Looking back at it, that was a really important one. Then the 21st at Fort Wayne, a unfortunate Bloomington loss, 2-5 to the Fort Wayne Comets. There was goals by your captain Eddie Matsushima and Johnny Evans. Next game, so a win and a loss there. The next game, Bloomington at Iowa, so 3 road games in a row, though they were each a few days apart at least. This one on November 26th, and Bloomington wins 4-3 in overtime. Matsushima, your captain, once again, scoring the overtime winner and scored one of the goals in the second. The Iowa Heartlanders scored 3 goals in the first. Bloomington came back with 3 goals of their own in the second half, and then their overtime winner to win that game against the Heartlanders. Then, right after that, who else but the Heartlanders, again, this time at Grossinger Motors Arena. Again, another overtime game, this time the Heartlanders taking it. Goals coming from Kyle Jackson and Mark Kalani Kovas for your Bison. I would really like Kyle Jackson to come back, please. But we'll get to that later. And then they had another game. It was a 3-game in a row. This time back at Extreme Arena. Or sorry, not 3 games in a row, because this one was on the 30th. I think so. I think this was a Wednesday game. And Bloomington at Iowa, 5-1 win. So big goals coming from Shane Ott, your captain Eddie Matsushima. Lots of Eddie goals here. Love to see that.
Go to Eddie.
Exactly. Lots of Eddie goals here. So Shane Ott, and that was assisted by Eddie. And then Eddie goal assisted by Shane Ott. I think those are like our guys right now. And then Sullivan Mack and Johnny Evans and Brett Budgell all scored which is funny because Johnny Evans has been scratched in recent games, and Brett Budgell is now no longer on the team.
Boo.
So the only players really playing still from that big win are Shaynot and Matsushima. And luckily, we still have Sullivan Mack on the team, too. He hasn't been recalled up yet. So please, let us keep some of our forwards, Heartlanders. You have plenty. Pretty please. Whatever. Doesn't matter. ECHL. Next game from there was December 3rd, so a few days jump again. This one at Toledo. Bloomington coming out with the win in overtime.
There we go.
Goals coming from Mikhail Robidoux, which, by the way, I got to say, I've been watching, obviously I've been watching a lot this year, and something we haven't been able to bring up because of our absence is the development of Roby. Because I'll be honest, when I watched Roby last year, he was very much the goon.
Oh yeah, we talked about that last year.
We talked about
like
last
the
year.
whole point of bringing him in.
The whole point of bringing him in was he was the goon. He was the fourth line guy. He'd punch someone. This year, he has been pretty good. I have really liked his all-around game this year. He's been quicker than I expected him to be. Honestly, he's been pretty fast on his skates. He's hard on the forecheck. He's been really good on the penalty kill. So to have him as like a fourth line guy who not only will hit players but also is like a good penalty killer and can produce some offense even if it's only occasionally, I am very pleasantly surprised with Robidoux.
Good utility guy.
He's gone from like the fighter you put on the fourth line to this is the utility guy on the team. You put him on your fourth line, but that's because you just need to put your utility guy somewhere. He can be on the penalty kill. Heck, I wouldn't even be surprised if they, I doubt it, but on like a second power play unit, use him as a net front presence. Like, he's that guy. So I'm very happy with Roby this year. So shout out.
Props to Barsky and his coaching staff, too, because that was something last year that we talked about, was that when you lose people, you need people to step up. You're seeing that with Robidoux getting into different roles. So good on Barsky and his staff.
Seriously, I think he's definitely established himself, and now that both Robidoux and Yeamans are back from their suspensions, now, going back to modern day, I'm excited for Yeamans and Robidoux to make up 2/3 of that fourth line that I think is really good. Right, it's definitely a strength for the Bison this year. Yeamans was another person that I didn't know how he was going to be, and at the beginning of the year he got the A, and he's really proven himself as a good fourth line, just very solid. Not necessarily a ton of offense, but again, kind of similar to it's a fourth line guy, more of someone you can have on the penalty kill, someone you can have all around. I feel like Yeamans has done a really good job of that as well. So having those two as 2/3 of your fourth line, I think.
Don't forget your fourth liners.
Hey,
they're important. 12
forwards and 6 defensemen, and 1 goalie and 2 goalies make up your starting lineup, and that's who's going to win it. You can't. Everyone matters, basically.
Yeah, don't underappreciate your fourth liners.
Yeah, seriously, don't underappreciate your fourth liners. They do matter. I would like Karpa and those guys back to edit our top 9, though. Not the point. Anyway, that was on the 3rd. Then on the 4th, they came back to Grossinger Motors Arena, and this time Kalamazoo at Bloomington. Unfortunately, Kalamazoo taking that one in regulation 4-3. Yes, I remember that game. That game was really frustrating because they went out to a 2-0 lead.
Yep.
And then Kalamazoo came back. Bison had the 2 goals in the first, and then Kalamazoo goal in the end of the first, goal in the second, goal in the third. Couldn't answer. They scored a 4th. They finally answered late in the 3rd, but it was too little, too late at that point. Couldn't get the tying goal. That one was a little frustrating, but especially against Kalamazoo, a team you should be able to beat. But just
4-0 when leading after 1 period, according to this ECSL stats.
No,
I'm no genius, but
all right.
Get the first one.
Then, so right after that, Bloomington, I guess we're a little angry at that game because they then came out and Kyle Jackson decided to have a hat trick within the first half of the game.
Player of the month in December, I believe.
Yep, player of the month in December, even though he wasn't there for half of December. It's true. It's pretty crazy. That's really impressive to be able to be player of the month and not be there for half the year. Then Brett Budgell scored. Wow, that's would be nice to have him back. And then Shane Ott scored the final goal in that game, making it 5-1. Big win for the Bison on December 6th. We're like halfway through this, by the way. Like, I hope you know this has been like 10 minutes of me talking, and we're like halfway through. We've missed a lot of games, so sorry, but we're gonna get through this. All right. Then next game, Bloomington Bison at Kalamazoo. Bison win 5-4. Another big game. Kyle Jackson, who else scored the first goal for the Bison? Bison go down 4-1, but I don't know if you remember anything about last year, but don't ever count out the Bison 3 goals down against the Kalamazoo Wings in particular.
Absolutely not.
Because it's still a game. And sure enough, despite being down 4-1 in the third with just 15 seconds left, McDonald scores. Kyle Jackson and Brett Budgell in the third to tie it up, goes to a shootout, and the Bison end up taking it in the shootout, with the shootout winner coming from Zachary Karpa. So, there you go. Big for the Bison there on December 10th, 5-4 win at Kalamazoo. So, they are doing pretty good on the road. Now, back at home, Indy at the Bison, 6-3 W.
Let's go.
Brendan Datamo scored the first goal, then his first of the year, and Eddie Matsushima with another. Aiden McDonald had one, and then Indy tried to come back pretty quickly with 2 quick Kevin Lombardi goals, who, by the way, Kevin Lombardi now on the Ice Hogs. But Karpa, see, we're not the only team who has their best player taken. Zachary Karpa scored Matsushima again for his 11th of the year. And then Denis scored to make it 6-3 after Harrison Israels for the Fuel scored 6-3 win, big win there. I only said Kyle Jackson's. I didn't say Kyle Jackson's name there. He did still have 3 points, all primary assists in that game. So listen, Hartford. I know it's probably what's best for Kyle Jackson himself. So I'm glad he's making more money in the AHL. Probably good for him. I'm happy for him.
You're speaking this into existence.
But he's played 6 games and hasn't registered anything. Please, I want my best player. He's so good on the Bison.
They're gonna keep him just because he said that.
Yeah, they're gonna keep him just because I'm being incredibly selfish. Because I mean, honestly, good for Jackson. I hope he stays in the AHL. I'm just being selfish because I want my team to be better. But what can I say? At least I'm honest about it. Then the next game on the 13th, Kansas City at Bloomington. At the time, you look at the standings now. We'll give you a little sneak peek because it wasn't this at the time. They were about 4th in the league, maybe 5th or 6th in the league at that time. But you flash forward to modern day. The Kansas City Mavericks are the number 1 team in the league by 5 points. So they are pretty reasonably the best team in the league so far.
3 games
through about 40 games just about 40 games. They're the best team in the league, 5 points above anybody else, and the team that's in second is the Florida Everblades. So you know that they're for real if the only team they're above.
No slouch.
If they're the only team that's above the Everblades. Yeah, they have the most wins. Second place has 26 in the Nailers. The Mavericks have 29. They've played 38 games, and they've won 29. So they've only lost 9 games total this year out of 38 games played.
Really impressive.
Yep. And 7 of them in regulation, 2 of them in the shootout. At home, they're pretty good. They're, if they're 13, so then they're 16-6-0-0 at home. So they're 16-6 at home. Pretty good.
Good.
That's pretty darn good. That's winning basically 3 out of every 4, something like that. On the road, they're 13-1-1.
I told you when we were talking about before we started this, if you want to know the mark of a good team, look at their road record.
Yep.
Because that is what separates when you get into the playoffs, when it really matters, home ice advantage really matters. That is what separates teams, is their road record. And I would be willing to bet right now, if I were to make my predictions, they will go very far if they continue up that road to success.
No. There you go. Kansas City, 13-1-1-1 on the road. Crazy. Only lost 3 games on the road. 2 of them in extra time. Guess what? One of those games is the game we're talking about. Back to it. What a segue. That was a good one. Come on, you got to give me some props on that. That was a good segue. Kansas City at Bloomington. Bloomington takes it 3-2. They did take it in the shootout, though, so that was their shootout loss.
So they still get a point.
So they did still get a point. But goals coming from Sullivan Mack and Sullivan Mack in both in the first period. Assist to who else but Kyle Jackson on the first goal and Nikita Sidov, and then Denis and Sung Jae Lee on the second one. And then in the shootout, only player who scored, Zachary Karpa, another shootout winner for Zachary Karpa. He has a few of those this year. Brett Bodgel didn't score in the shootout. He's not going to score for us in the shootout anymore either, so that's fine. And we can move on from that game. 3-2 victory over the Kansas City Mavericks. You know what's hilarious?
What's that?
I'm saying all of this about Budgel, and it's going to come out that he's just playing overseas for that season, and he's going to come back at the end of the year, and he's going to have a bunch of words for me. He's going to be like, so.
Well, you've already said that you're wanting our best players back, which we all know is going to work against us.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I don't actually think he's going to come back. We went overseas, and good for him. I hope he succeeds over there. He seems like he has 2 points in 4 games so far in, I think, the Austrian League. But, hey, you do you. And if he comes back later in the year after that season ends, I'll be happy. I doubt it. I doubt it, but you know what? A boy can dream. So, we'll see. That is it for that game, for the third time. Then we have the game the next day, on the 14th. Again, Kansas City at Bloomington. This one, they're unfortunately, the Bison are not 2 of their losses. That would be just too cool. Kansas City taking this one 2-1. Eddie with your 1 goal. Who else?
Close game, though.
Very close game. That was all the goals were scored in the first.
That's crazy.
Kansas City had 2 goals in the first after Bloomington's goal, and then nobody scored for the rest of the game. LaFontaine, the Kansas City goalie, is one of the best goalies in the ECHL right now. I'd say that there's I forget the name of the Atlanta Gladiators goalie, but it's probably him, LaFontaine, and your boy Dryden McKay. But we'll get to that in a little bit. We'll get to that, yeah. But yeah, LaFontaine, really, really good for them this year. Fun fact, also, a little bit of insider beef. Actually, you know what? I'll get to that later when I talk about McKay. But
another mark of a good team, good goaltending.
Yes, but we have a fun fact later. Next, after that weekend wrapped up, the Bison then welcomed Fort Wayne on December 17th. They unfortunately lost to Fort Wayne, second in our division right now. Kalani Kovas, Chungmin Lee, and Brendan Datema with the goals there. And that one was another one that was really unfortunate because they scored the first 2 goals. And then Fort Wayne scored 2 again. Tied it up. The Bison score, get the lead again, and then immediately let another goal in.
See, I think that's the worst.
And then they score again late in the third.
Way you could lose a game.
Yeah, and then they score late again in the third, and it's just, ugh. Like, it was just deflating. Yeah,
I would much rather get, blown up.
I don't know if I'd rather get blown out, but, I don't know. That one was definitely disheartening, but it was against a very good team, so it was a little bit more understandable. The next game was the game that was less understandable. After taking a really tough loss to Fort Wayne, you want to get back on your feet. Unfortunately, no. Welcoming Kalamazoo. Kalamazoo, talking about a blowout, 6-2 win over the Bloomington Bison. Your Bison goals coming by who else but Eddie Matsushima and then Lou Felix Denis. And then other than that, I remember being at that. I was at that game. Just a rough one. Right before the holidays.
That's not how you want to come out after playing.
A rough one.
Well-ish.
Yeah, a rough one right before the holidays. Little rough weekend stretch there, but and then for the third game, it happened again. Brett Budgell scoring, but the Kalamazoo Wings take it 2-1 at home. So a little 3-game skid there going into the holidays. Not great. Now, if you are following me, if you've been listening along at home, you'll notice that I said that Kyle Jackson was only there for the first half of December. The second half of December is when the losing streak started. Is this a coincidence? I think not. But yes, another loss for the Bison, that at home.
It's almost as if good players make a difference.
Wow. Good players make teams better.
Holy cow.
On to the next game. Next one was at Fort Wayne. That one was after the holidays. Not a great time going into the holidays. And then there was, I can't believe we completely skipped over that. We missed the entire thing. We missed the lead up, the actual thing happening, and the postmortem of it. But there was a strike.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy.
Scary.
Crazy, scary. Unfortunate.
Yeah, lots of words. I'm glad. It seems that it was resolved relatively well. I hope the players really were able to be given what they want, what they deserve.
Yeah.
Because they deserve what they asked for and more.
I'll be honest. I kind of actually thought it was going to last longer. I
was worried it was too, and I'm very glad it only lasted as long as it did. It only lasted about a week. Not even. It lasted 3-4 days. Because there was plenty of weeks prior to that where they were arguing about having a strike, and if you don't do it, we're going to have a strike. But the lead
up was a while, but
exactly. But the strike itself, there wasn't really any games on obviously none on Christmas Eve or Christmas itself, and then the strike was on Christmas. Started on Christmas.
What was it like? Only missed 2 or 3 maybe.
From what I remember, I think they missed that weekend after Christmas. So the 26th, 27th, and 28th, there was games. And I don't think they held those games. Those games were all postponed. So that 3 games basically a weekend.
Stretch.
But then on the 31st, which is when this game is, when they came back from the strike, and it was over. So by Wednesday it was over. So it was only those 3 games. But when they came back, they looked good. They had to call up a few people from the nearby Peoria Rivermen, specifically one Griffin Fox, who ended up scoring in the first period.
Let's go
for Bloomington, tying it up 1-1. Bloomington ending up taking it despite being down 2-1 in the second. They come back. Kalani Kovas with back-to-back goals, just 24 seconds apart. Nice showing from him there. And new addition at the time, Matt Hubbard, scoring as well. He's been, just from the new year, so we've only had him for about a month. Big fan of Matt Hubbard. He's been a good addition on the team. He's someone that is a skillful player, but can also play lower in the lineup and doesn't need to be higher in the lineup. So I like him as more of a complementary piece as a skillful player in the bottom 6.
Sorry. I haven't found necessarily a pickup this year that has been awful.
Yeah. Most of their pickups have been pretty darn good.
They're either average or good.
Yeah.
Which is
something you like to see.
To the scouting department.
Yeah, no kidding. But the big win over Fort Wayne, they won 4-3. Hubbard with that game-winning goal there, so big for him. But 4-3 win over Fort Wayne. Then they go back to that weekend. They go to Indy, 5-0 loss on January 2nd. So
that hurts.
That one's a yikes, especially after a good game against a hard opponent on the 31st at their arena too, being able to win, and then you go to Indy, another important game, and just lay an egg. Literally, it's a goose egg.
Wear and tear on that one.
But then again, you do at that time their best offensive pieces were all out. Eddie was gone at that time because of the birth of his child, I'm pretty sure. He was staying at home with his kid at that time. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. I don't have the exact up-to-date news for that. But
He
I'm
was
pretty
recently
sure.
injured, though, too.
Oh, maybe that was his injury then.
It might have been an injury because I did hear that he was injured.
I was kind of just assuming because the timeline worked out correctly. But
I'm not fully 100% sure. Don't quote me on that, but
point is,
He
our
was out.
glorious captain was out. All right. And you had your captain out, who's your top scoring forward right now, still on the team. Kyle Jackson was called up and still is. And Chongmin Lee was also called up at that time. So your three best offensive players,
bad time to lose those three.
all gone. Fun fact, at that time, Sullivan Mack and Zachary Karpa, your likely third and fourth best offensive player, or fourth and fifth best, were also both called up. So actually, I wouldn't say that because that's not giving enough credit to Shane Ott, who has been a great player for us this year. So I'm not going to say that because I think Ott's been one of our best players this year. Big fan of Shane Ott.
Still, though, if you're losing...
But, no, he was the only... Out of, like, I'd say your top... If you want to say, like, your top six...
Oh, yeah.
Out of those guys, because Chongmin Lee, Eddie Matsushima, Zachary Karpa, Sullivan Mack, and Kyle Jackson... That's 5 out of a top 6. All right, the only one that's still there, because I'd say when you have everybody, I'd say your top 6, now that Budgel is gone, is very likely a top 6 of Ott, Matsushima, Lee, and then Jackson, Karpa, or sorry, it's probably Mack, Karpa, Jackson.
Yeah.
Is probably your lineup when you're fully healthy. So in these games, out of that top 6, you had one player.
That's not
Great.
That's called bad news for your chemistry.
And there's guys that stepped up. Like I'm a fan of how Kalani Kovas stepped up, especially last game. But I really do think he's like a perfect like third line right wing taller guy, like more guy. And I think again when healthy, you probably have Aiden McDonald and Kalani Kovas on that third line
This is gonna sound terrible, but this is completely unrelated. But I worked a game in December, and I just want to shout out to him because his name is extremely hard. I didn't have to say it. I wish I had to say it because he scored. I didn't have to say it, so shout out to him for maybe a good reason, but like you kind of saved me some good work, so thank you.
No, I think when healthy, you probably put Aiden McDonald and Kalani Kovas centered by Denis. Is my guess. Like looking at who we currently have, I'd say probably centered by Denis, and then your fourth line is just that Robidoux Yeamans we talked about, and then probably Hubbard because I've liked his game. That means that Abramov wouldn't be playing, but I like Abramov, not sure.
Abramov. Had to say that name. I know that one.
Abramov. It is Abramov.
Yes.
It's not Abramov. Oh, okay. Abramov then. But yeah, I do really like a lot of the forwards now. I just wish we could have some of them sent back down and have some consistency. Although I like Abramov, so he's a nice fill-in for somebody like Kyle Jackson while they're called up. Just give me one of them back. Just give me either Kyle Jackson or Zachary Karpa. It doesn't have to be both. Just give me one of them because I think Abramov can fill the role of whoever the other one was, and then we have a very complete lineup.
I could argue, I have an argument here, though. I would much rather have these guys out now than, say, in a month.
Oh, yeah.
Or 2.
I would rather have them called up or hurt right now than called up or hurt like in a month and a half.
Hartford could have anybody they want right now. Maybe not anybody.
Maybe not everybody.
I shouldn't say anybody. But Hartford, you can have pretty much almost anybody you want right now. But in like a month and a half, you better give us them back.
Well, here's the other thing. Hartford is likely not going to make the playoffs. They have 40 games played. They are 16, 19, and 5. So, not great. They're 7th in their division in the Atlantic. and
Ouch.
their division isn't even necessarily the best to begin with. So at 37 points, they are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're currently 7th last in the league. So they're not the worst, but
Ain't good.
they're probably not going to make the playoffs, which means that they may be willing to give us players if we look like we might make the playoffs and they do not.
Maybe.
Might
be wishful thinking.
Might be wishful thinking, absolutely. But, also, for example, let me just look up when the AHL playoffs are, because with the ECHL strike, many things were delayed. I know the entire season was delayed about a week because they're going to have those extra games in April, so then the playoffs are delayed a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm saying if that's true, the AHL playoffs may start before the ECHL playoffs, and if that's true, then especially if Hartford's not making it, they're going to be done with their season before, like, they're going to be done with their season before the playoffs even start for the Bison. Could be. So
That would
like
be
AHL
interesting.
playoffs. Here, AHL playoffs start. AHL.
By the way, we're speaking it into existence that Bloomington will win the Kelly Cup this year.
Oh yeah, we're just trying to say it like 80 times.
We could be delusional, probably.
could be,
Probably.
very much are,
But speak it into existence, please.
yes. You know what? Let me
We
just check
can-
the AHL.
We can be
schedule.
delusional because I'll just bring it up now. We were talking about before the podcast. I don't know if y'all remember, but in the very, very beginning of the season, we made a clip about a certain football team
Oh this. This.
that may have started 0-2.
Yes.
Maybe called the Chicago Bears.
Maybe.
Yeah, they shut us up.
In theory, they
And
could
it was
maybe in theory be called the Chicago Bears, though.
The
Not
best
sure.
season that me and Dylan have ever seen them play.
Oh, that's the best season. I mean, in theory, the 2006 season that they made the Super Bowl. I mean, I
I was
saw.
5. I don't remember. Shite.
Yeah, like I technically watched that, but I was.
I do remember the opening
4.
kickoff, but
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I remember the opening kickoff, and that's it. That's all I remember. I don't remember anything else from even the day. So
if they can do anything like the Bears did this year,
yeah, best
please
season I've
prove
ever
us
seen.
wrong, because that clip
please.
was
It was
hilarious.
hilarious because at the time it was a funny clip too. I liked editing it. It was one of my favorite ones when they edit. I thought it was very funny, and then they ended up winning the next game, and I'm like, oh hey, there you go. And then they won the next game, and I'm like, I'm okay with this. I'm fine.
how about this? Hartford takes all of our players right now, and then like gives them back in like a month, and then Bloomington just goes on an absolute tear.
I don't know if we could survive a month without any of our players in the current standings race, though, because it's still
Okay,
a
how about
race.
this? Like give and go, like up and down for the next month, just for us enough for us to survive. Then we go on an absolute tear in like a month, and then we win the Kelly Cup. I think that sounds great.
Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't sound great. I'm trying to think logically. I doubt that's going to happen.
Well, listen, we don't always have to think with 100%.
We don't have
logic.
to always be
We can-
smart. We can.
This is a fan podcast. We can dream. We can will our way into the Kelly Cup final just by our thoughts.
Yes. I'm going to be right back. I want to check the schedule really quick because
All right.
there is a schedule magnet that I have on my fridge over here.
This is double mic on the mic right here.
Yes. So, with the rescheduled games were scheduled for the April 18th and 17th and 15th.
Wow.
Is
I
when they
couldn't have-
were
couldn't-
is when they were rescheduled too.
Couldn't have put one on my birthday. It's okay.
But the fun part is that means that the AHL season and the ECHL season end on the same day. I just checked the schedules.
Whoa.
They end both on the 19th. And we're back. That was a little bit of technical difficulties there. I had to pause for a second, but all good now. Where exactly were we? We were talking about
19th.
talking about the 19th, talking about April, which means if those seasons are going to end on the same day, it's more likely that, especially if Hartford continues to not be great, they will pretty likely send their players down to us.
Please.
And now, not their players as in, like, they're better players, but I'm saying players that have played with us for a solid amount of years. So, like, someone like Chris Ortiz or Cooper Moore would be on the fence, like, maybe, but also those are defensemen, and we need them way less because our defense is already pretty darn good. I like our defense.
I would agree.
And they'd probably send someone like Govlis down already before that. But they would hopefully send down, like, Kyle Jackson, Zachary Karpa, Sullivan Mack, and I hope they do because those guys would be great additions.
That's a big boost right before.
Right before the playoffs. That would be huge. Okay, and after distracting myself for the fourth time, we are so close to being done with all of these games. It is ridiculous. But yes, we were talking about the unfortunate event at Indy, 5-0. Moving on, we then had January 3rd, and more of the same unfortunate results. Shane Ott, the only Bison with a goal, as they fall to Wheeling 1-4. Admittedly, Wheeling, as I just mentioned, top 3 teams in the league right now are the Everblades, the Mavericks, and with the Wheeling Nailers. So they were playing at one of the best teams in the league. So it's a little bit more understandable. And they were, again, playing with only one of their top 6 players. But still 1-4, so not terrible.
No excuses.
Not a terrible showing.
Look at me being a hard butt.
And then finally, they went to Toledo, traveled to Toledo, which a lot of travel in a few days there within those 3 games. Jeez. But then they go to Toledo, and sure enough, can't get that one done either. 1-4, only goal from your defenseman, Nikita Sedov, who's been incredible this year. And then finally, we get to January 7th, the Wednesday game, Kalamazoo at Bloomington. Bloomington finally gets back onto the W column. Parker Govlis with the first goal, McDonald with back-to-back tallies, and then Chongmin Lee with just 2.5 minutes left in the second makes it 4-3. No goals within the third period, so the Bison take that one 4-3. Big win, bounce-back win after a rough weekend on the 7th there. Then on the 10th, start of the next weekend, there was Star Wars night. A very cool night. They had lightsaber giveaway. That was awesome. It was entirely Bison that day. 5-0 against Cincinnati for the Bison.
Some could say that the Force was with us.
Oh, the Force was definitely with us. Solomon Frissell, now no longer with the team, scored. Then Lou Felix Denis twice, Nikita Shedov, and Parker Govlis getting his 6th. Get it 5-0 for the Bison on the 10th. Had a little bit of a break, and then they came back on the 16th. Bloomington at Fort Wayne, and they made a statement win. It was at Fort Wayne. It wasn't even at Grosinger Motors Arena. At Fort Wayne, a 5-2 win for the Bloomington Bison.
You know what I call that? B2A. And if you don't know what that stands for,
belt to
boom. That's what I like to call it.
Oh,
B2A.
Yeah. Belt to booty cheeks. All right.
Sorry for all the young listeners.
Oh, I'll get the noise in there. Don't worry. But yeah, no, we had Karpa and Mac back for that game. So that was big. On the 16th at Fort Wayne, and yeah, they made their presence known. That was when we added Abramov as well. So good group there coming together. Lou Felix Denis with a goal, Sullivan Mack with a goal, Kalani Kovas with a goal, Mack with another goal, and then Zachary Karpa got the empty netter, make it 5-2 for the Bison. Big win at Fort Wayne. I kind of want Karpa back because it was nice. Or you know what? Honestly, I won't even be greedy. Hartford, just one of them. Just either Jackson or Carpo.
Literally, and
one of
either
the two.
one of them.
One of the two. You don't even have to give me a defenseman back. You have 3 defensemen that we could have right now, and you can keep all of them. Just give me someone.
If you feel bad, you could give us all of them, but
I'd be cool with that. You could give us all 3 defensemen: Callum Tung, Kyle Jackson, and Zachary Carpo. That'd be.
hey,
Witty,
we don't
please.
need count. No offense,
We don't.
Callum Tung,
Admittedly, no offense,
Dryden,
Callum Tung.
freaking
We
McKay.
don't need Callum Tung right now because our backup and our starter are both great. But yes, then the 17th, another game at Fort Wayne. Can't get the back-to-back wins, unfortunately. 3-2. But hey, again, for how rough they were, they had
That's a rough
again
schedule.
they still didn't have Eddie back at that point. They still. This was after Lee got in. No, this wasn't after Lee got injured. This was before Lee had gotten back. So, they still didn't have Lee or Eddie. They still didn't have Kyle Jackson. And then the second game, they still only lost 3-2 at Fort Wayne too. So both of those games, going 1-1 with not your full team, with the second best team in the division, very good. I'm very happy about it. Goal scorers for your team ended up being Nikita Shedov and Mikhail Abramov. Again, tried to make that comeback as they scored 3-0 and then made it 3-2, but unfortunately, too little, too late. Weren't able to get any goals in the third, and that was a win for Fort Wayne. And the final game before this past weekend. Before we get to this past weekend,
If you've made it all the way here,
I know.
we
Thank
love
you guys. It's been 40 minutes at this point. But yeah, final time. It's Toledo at Bloomington, and boy, did we need this one. Toledo shut out 0. Bloomington Bison 3.
Let's go.
Your goal scorers are Abramov, McDonald, and Mack. Making a statement. The Star Wars night, I forgot to mention.
Oh.
Star Wars night. Starting goaltender, Dryden McKay. Had a shutout, 5-0 against the Cincinnati ones. Then he plays on the road against Fort Wayne. Comes back home, shuts out Toledo.
Boom.
Then we get to this weekend. And you'll get where I'm coming from later, but that introduction was important. First game was Friday against Cincinnati, and that one was a rough one. That one was a little bit more rough. 5-1 loss. All right. And trust me, it was one of the ones where it was even worse if you were actually there at the game. I'm not trying to make it sound terrible, but it was a really rough game. Honestly, it was kind of surprising they were even able to get the one goal they did. And we're back. Another quick technical malfunction there. Having a lot of... It clearly we're a bit rusty, and so is the equipment. So everything's going wrong. But why wouldn't it? But yes, 5-1 loss for the Bison there. Your one goal coming from Shane Ott. So him still making an impact. Assists by Matsushima and Matt Hubbard. Yeah, I mean, I'm liking how they're playing still, even with that unfortunate loss. I still like how the Bison were playing in general.
I think they've put themselves in a good spot.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at their 18, 13, and 4 against their own division,
Yeah.
which could it be better? Yeah.
18, 13, and 4.
5 games above 500?
5 games above fake 500.
Fake 500,
And
yes.
more importantly, a game above real 500, which is what I like to see.
Right. You always want to be above 500 especially in
real
your own
500.
division. And
You can say fake 500 all you want. You can probably make the playoffs going fake 500, but I like going really 500
boy.
because that means that you can actually, win over half your games. It's just
I opened up those can of worms.
listen. I'll stop interrupting. But Lord, I could talk about loser points for hours.
But I think they've set themselves up in a good position. I think our division is good, and I think everybody knows that and can agree with that.
I would say yes.
And I think if you look at last year, I think they made it way too close, and I think that's ultimately why they didn't make the playoffs. I'm going to argue and say that they're going to make the playoffs this year, and it's going to be not as close. Now, I will eat my words happily. Okay, if we still make the playoffs and it's close, it's still going to be very close, the fight to the end, but I think we're going to separate ourselves this year at the end.
Okay.
I don't think we did that last year like we could have.
We could have.
But that's maybe a hot take.
But that was the Friday game. Then we move on to Saturday, and yes, a much more competitive game. This one against the Fuel, so another really important opponent. And this one also, unfortunately, a loss 3-1. This one was a lot closer. The other game, it barely even felt like we could get the goal that we did. Like, it felt like a miracle we managed to make it 5-1 in that game. This game, it was close the majority of the game. They got 2 quick goals. Indy gets 2 quick goals in the first half and then right before the end of the first period. Going into the second, nothing, and no goals in the second. Bloomington, who else but Nikita Sidov on the power play, able to get it past their goaltender, and it seemed like it was going to be good, and they get the empty netter trying to get the equalizer. So it was very close. It was definitely closer than a 3-1 score may indicate.
Good risk reward, though. You got it.
Absolutely.
Take the chances.
But very close game there. A good one at home. Obviously, you want to win, but still not a bad game. And then, finally, the game 2 days ago on Sunday. Finally, we needed it. This is something I want to talk about because it's something that I've noticed, especially compared to last year. They had it a little bit last year, but I've noticed it specifically this year, is their ability to not spiral. The ability to not go on a terrible losing streak and let losing stuff get to them. The Bison have a great ability to just move on to the next. And I'm very happy that this team is able to just push forward because like they've done it a lot where they've had where I talked about it earlier in earlier weekends where they had a full weekend where they didn't win a single game. Then the Wednesday game, they came back and made a statement. As I said, they lost, what was it? They had lost 0-5 at Indy, 4-1 at Wheeling, and 4-1 at Toledo. So what do? They go home, 4-3 statement win over the Kalamazoo Wings. Then it happens again, a rough weekend, 5-1 at home, 3-1 at home. So what do? The final game of the weekend, they wrap it up and get a win. Even in the weekends that they're more tough, that are more frustrating for the Bison, they still find a way to come out with a win at the end. And that's something that last year they didn't really have. They had it a little bit, but this year they're really like, even when we're not doing well, when we're having a slump or not having a good month or having a good weekend or something, they still find a way to get a win.
You bring that up.
And that is incredibly important, to be able to be consistent and continue to stack those points to continue to stay in the standings.
I completely agree with that, and I was just while you were saying that, I was looking for this because it made me think of. But this was 2 days ago, before they had the rematch against the Indy Fuel. Coach Barsky said, and I quote, "It comes down to execution. It comes down to energy." And I think he's had some of those. He said, if you're just consistently obsessed with what you're doing, you will continue to find ways to get better. And I think that is showing when you talk about being able to bounce back and not let the downers, I guess, continue. Like, that's the kind of mindset that Coach Barsky is putting into this team, and I think that's proving to be very true.
They got the Rocky mindset, and it's really showing. Again, like you start off the week with a 5-1 loss with someone you're fighting in the standings with for a playoff spot. That, and especially being at the game, that was a rough experience for a game. I would not have blamed it at all if many players were dejected, but nope. The next game, they come out, and it's much more competitive than that game. They come out, and they don't lay back. They don't say, man, that was really rough, I'm frustrated. They make it competitive and almost pull it out near the end. Unfortunately, take a loss. And then on the third game, do they sit back and go, wow, we really lost just 2 out of the 3 games in the weekend. We were really not that good, and get mopey or anything? Nope. They come out and make a statement win, 3-0 win.
And you know you're going to have games like that. Like, you're not going to win every game 10-0.
Yeah.
You're going to get kicked in the teeth. and lose those games. But I think that's really impressive, and I think some of the quotes that you're seeing that come out from Coach Barsky, I think that mindset is just really that killer instinct of like, we're not going to let this crap bother us.
So what's the line from Creed? It's not about how hard you can punch. It's about how hard you can get punched and still get back up.
Exactly. They got punched hard.
And they got right back up and punched them right back. Especially for the fuel. Like, it was... I'm happy as a team as how they can continue to come together and not do it. Because they had plenty of times last year, I remember, where they would have the opposite. Where they'd start with good momentum and then sputter out on the end of a weekend. And I remember specifically a lot of those skate games where you'd go on the after skate, where like you'd start the weekend like the Friday game was a big W, and then the Saturday was like a mid loss, and then the Sunday game was a just blowout loss, and then everyone's skating was kind of like eh. But now it's the opposite. It feels like even if we start rough, we can finish strong, and if we start strong, we can stay strong through it. So I really like that improvement specifically this year. But I don't know if you noticed, but I'm getting back to that thing I had said, because that Star Wars night shutout.
Yep.
That Toledo game shutout. And then the next game, oh wait, that just had happened to be Dryden McKay's next home game, because McKay didn't play in Cincinnati against Cincinnati or Indy. So, sorry, excuse me. He played against Cincinnati. He didn't play against the first Indy game. So while he didn't have a great game against Cincy, has another shutout, which means over the course of 4 games, 4 home games, Dryden McKay has 3 shutouts.
That's ridiculous.
Best goaltender in the ECHL. Best goaltender in the ECHL. We did it actually, and this is what I was going to talk about earlier. I said I had a little cool fun fact.
Oh yeah.
So the 3 best goalies in the league, I said it was the goalie for Atlanta, who I can't remember the name of right now, Dryden McKay, and Jack LaFontaine, who's the goalie for the Kansas City Mavericks right now. What's funny is part of the reason I'm such a big Dryden McKay fan is because when I got into college hockey right after COVID was when he was doing amazingly. He was winning Hobie Bakers. He was consistently in nominations. He was a shutout machine at Minnesota State. So I really liked watching him in college. One of the other best goalies in the league at that time in the NCAA, Jack LaFontaine. There are 2 different awards in that you can technically win in there as a goalie, because there's obviously the Hobie Baker for the basically MVP of the league, but there's also the Mike Richter Award, which is essentially the Vezina for NCAA hockey. All right. So you have your best goaltender, and then you have your best player. Remember, McKay was voted not best goaltender, best player. He was a top 10 nominee for best player in his first year, a top 3 nominee in his second year, and wins it in his third year. All right, and that's best player. He never won the Mike Richter Award.
That's actually crazy.
For best goalie. And in the year that he really should have won it, because at least the other years are a little bit more understandable with Devin Levi at Northeastern, because Devin Levi at Northeastern was supposedly supposed to be the best, the next generational goalie prospect. He didn't end up doing that, but at Northeastern he was really, really good. So it makes sense how Devin Levi could win it over McKay. But McKay really should have won the Mike Richter in 22. Maybe there was a rule against being a Hobie Baker finalist and a Mike Richter Award winner.
I would rather win the Hobie Baker though.
Oh, me too. And Jack LaFontaine never won the Hobie Baker. Dryden McKay did, and was a 3-time finalist, as I said. But
take that.
But in 22, unless there's a rule I don't know about not being able to win both at the same time, LaFontaine completely robbed McKay of the Mike Richter Award in 22. If you can't win at the same, if it's that you can't win or be a top 3 nomination and win it in the same year, then okay, I understand. LaFontaine deserved it. He was very good in goal that year. I'm not going to say take that away from him.
Right.
But Dryden McKay in NCAA 22, the year 2022 and 2023, those 2 school years, Oh my gosh, disgusting.
Not somebody you want to wake up and see on your schedule.
No, I mean, he literally holds the all-time record for shutouts among NCAA goaltenders, above Ryan Miller. NHL near Hall of Famer Ryan Miller. I know I've said this on the podcast before, but I still can't believe it. That's such a cool stat. You can't tell me that's not. The current Bison goalie, likely the best goalie in the ECHL, currently holds the record in college hockey for most shutouts over NHL legends. You cannot tell me that isn't awesome.
Ryan Miller is no slouch.
But yeah, no. So serious, huge shout out to Dryden McKay, top 3 goaltender in the ECHL at the very least, if not number 1. He's a top 2 goaltender in the ECHL, and he's not number 2. All right, that's what I'm saying.
And he's putting our team on his back.
Yeah. So seriously, Dryden McKay. I mean, jeez. Shut out. Can you blame him for letting in 5 to the Cyclones? He needed to just let it all out one game. He's like, okay, fine, I can let one in.
You're destined to have a bad game.
No. You're not even
somewhere.
destined. You're destined to let in a certain amount of pucks over a certain amount of time. He just decided to let them all in during that game so that he could save the rest of them for the rest of the games. Which,
okay.
I get it. The genius strategy. I see you.
Just keep performing in the big games.
Yeah. Well, we're almost done for this pod episode today, but quick thing, we'll look at the standings, and then we'll do a quick rule corner, and then we'll be good for the day. So first, we're talking about those league standings. Specifically, I want to talk about the Central, our division. Toledo currently leads the division, shocking, with 52 points, 23 wins. Fort Wayne with 21 wins, 48 points. And then your Bloomington Bison in third, currently tied for third with the Fuel, which is pretty funny. We have nearly the exact same record as the Fuel, but we have one more win than them. They just have 2 more. They have an extra loss, or they have 1 less win and 1 less loss, and then 2 extra overtime losses. So, because of the loser point,
oh boy,
we are tied with the Fuel. We get the tiebreaker because of the loser point, but still, we're third. We're third right now. Cyclones not too far behind. Right now, the Bison have 38 games played. The Walleye and the Comets have 37, and then the Cyclones and the Kalamazoo Wings are currently each have 2 games in hand at 36 games played. So those guys are actually kind of worrisome because at the beginning of the year, it was like, okay, obviously we're going to have to fight through everybody, but it started to seem like they were, distancing themselves from the pack a little bit. The Fuel, the Cyclones, and the Wings have all made a comeback. Specifically, the Wings have really made a comeback throughout the months, and they've gone from the worst in the division to they are almost equal in points with the Cyclones and are now competing for that playoff spot with us. So, I mean, good on the Wings, I guess. Good comeback. The only team that seems destined to miss the playoffs is the Heartlanders. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't know how they have a team still. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be rude, but not even as a rival. I'm not saying this as a rival, saying haha, your team. No, I'm saying just as an ECHL fan. How do you still have a team? You average less than 1,500 people a night. You are in Iowa. So, I mean, if this hockey team isn't better entertainment than watching corn grow.
Ooh. Pull out the corn.
You're getting 1,500 a night. I mean, I know Iowa's barren, but it's not that barren. All right? And if people would rather watch corn grow, it seems like an issue. All right? Because not only do you now have the worst attendance in the league by a good margin, which, again, under 1,500 a night, but now you're by far the worst team in the division and one of the worst teams in the league. They are currently, 1 point above worst team in the league. Worst team right now is Tulsa Oilers.
How many points are they out of the playoff spot?
Let me go back to our division. Currently, since the Fuel and the Bison are tied, 42. You'd need to beat 42. So they would need to have 17 more points to be tied with us. So 18 more points. So basically, they would have needed to win 9 more of their games to be above us in the standings. That's a lot of games.
We're going to clip this just in the odd case that they do something crazy.
I will eat my own foot if the Heartlanders make the playoffs this year. You see, it's on broadcast. I will eat my own foot if the Heartlanders make the playoffs this year. I'm waiting.
I don't want them to.
I'm waiting.
I am just saying.
I'm waiting. Heartlanders, prove me wrong. This doesn't look mighty delicious, but it's going in here if they somehow make the playoffs. That's how confident I am that they are so far out of it.
I 100% agree with you. I'm still sticking with it. I think the Bison will separate ourselves, and I think we'll secure a spot, and I think we're gonna win the Kelly Cup playoffs. That part might be delusional.
That part might be a bit much,
but I think we're gonna do it. I think we're in a good spot. I'm feeling actually much more confident this season in this particular spot in the season than I did last year.
Oh, I'm feeling more confident too. Yeah,
because what was it? What's the point spread between us and Cincy? Because last year it literally came down to what, the last 3 games of the year.
I remember last year it was so funny last year because the whole second half of the season we finally got people back and we were trying to make a push for the playoffs for the majority of the last 2 months of the season. We were pushing forward and we are we had hopped over Indy and we were right there in the playoffs. It was Toledo. Who was it? It was Toledo.
Cincinnati was making a push, I think.
No, Cincinnati sucked last year.
It was Fuel.
You know what? I have this wonderful thing called just using the last year thing. That's what it was. The Heartlanders were third. That's what it was. So I remember it was the Walleye Comets and then
Kalamazoo.
And then the Heartlanders were third. And then we were fighting for fourth with Indy and Kalamazoo.
That Kalamazoo, that's
what
it was. And
then Cincinnati was last in the division. And then what had happened was we had overtaken Kalamazoo and then overtaken Indy to get that fourth spot. And then in the last week and a half, we lost a bunch of games and went to last in the division, which is crazy that we ended up last in the division.
See,
honestly.
I don't think it's going to be that close this year.
I don't think so either.
It'll be close.
No, I'm saying
but I don't think you could go from third to last.
No, the Indy Fuel who made it and the Bloomington Bison who were last have a 3-game differential.
Yeah, see, that's
6-point differential.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's not going to be that close this year. First of all, because the Heartlanders aren't going to be even close to that. But I think likely it's going to be the Walleye and the Comets for 1 and 2 is my guess. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but that's my guess. And then I think the Bison and the Bison, the Fuel, the Cyclones are all fighting for third right now. No, it's the Bison, Fuel, Cyclones, and Wings are all fighting for third and fourth. So it's 4 teams, 2 spots. 'Cause the Heartlanders aren't. Which actually, I'm actually really excited now because of how bad the Heartlanders have been. If they continue to be as bad, all right, the rescheduled games were games against the Heartlanders. Which means our final 3 games of the season, specifically our final 2, are home games against the Heartlanders.
Could end on a high note.
Exactly. If you're in a playoff race and you need wins, I'm happy that our end of the year schedule is against the worst team in the division that we also hate.
Very, very good point.
So a team that we hate that is the worst team in the division, we get to play them in our last few games. That's going to be good for us if we need points to make the playoffs.
Let's not make it that close, though.
Or I don't want it to be that close either. I'm just saying, worst comes to worst. That does actually, unfortunately, give Iowa some added meaning too, though, because then they could.
They want to play spoiler.
Yeah, we don't want to be able to let them play spoiler. So we'll see. Again, lots of hockey left to be played in the year. If I forget exactly how many games, 72 games on the season. So we are just over halfway, because it's about 38 games. So just over halfway through the season. Still got plenty of hockey left to be played. I'm excited to see what can happen. And your reminder to ask the Hartford Wolfpack to send down Kyle Jackson and Zachary Karpa. But yeah, no, we talked about goalies. We don't need Tongue, honestly. We like him.
No.
We'll definitely take him back if you want him. But Olas has been good as a backup. I've liked him as backup.
You know what? I'm happy that Olas is finding better success than last year.
Yeah, he's finding better success than last year, and he's solidified that backup spot, I think. And then I'm McKay and Olas. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that tandem.
Let's roll.
Let's roll with that tandem. I'm fine. And again, it's something which is why I like the defense. Honestly, I don't mind the defense getting called up, is because something I really think is important we talked about is consistency. Getting consistent line mates, getting consistent yada yada.
Yep.
Matters for goalies and defense too. So if we can keep these goalies consistent, McKay and Olas, keep the defense consistent mostly, so like keep Datema in, keep Sedov in, keep Ferguson in, which I think they're going to do. Like, as long as you keep those guys in, you have consistency.
Pick it if you're gonna have change. Pick only at least one unit. Like,
if you're
don't be changing your goalies and your defense.
And if you're gonna be changing something, make sure it's a clear upgrade, and don't be like mishmashing it. Like, don't be like swish-swashing it and messing with the lines and all that. Like, I trust Barsky, but like,
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Well, other than that, our only part left today is our rule corner. I was going to explain slashing today. So slashing is when you intentionally hit someone with your stick, like you slash someone. Like that. I mean, this isn't a stick, but I slashed him with it. Like I hit it with, like it was a baton. Like I'm whacking you with a baton.
Yeah.
That's a slash. You do it hard enough. And yes, it sometimes is up to the ref's discretion because it's hockey. There's lots of little whacks and hits and tiny slashes that aren't going to get called because it's hockey. It's a little bit of a violent sport. It happens sometimes. It's not going to get called every time. Slashings are mainly called when it's obvious, when it's like blatant. So like
drop your stick.
If not even drop, if it's a slash call, they probably break your stick.
Yeah, drop or most times likely you break it.
Yes, refs do sometimes call slashes when they knock it out of your hands, but I'm going to be honest, 90% of the time it's because that player needs to hold onto your stick.
There's a little gamesmanship in there for that one.
No, there is a little bit of gamesmanship of learning how to subtly drop your stick to get a penalty, and that really pisses me off. I don't think that if you drop your stick, I don't care if it's a full slash, if it's a full obvious slash, if you drop your stick, it shouldn't be a penalty. It should either break or it should be just whack off your stick as a very obvious slash. Yeah. If you drop it, no void. But I don't know, I'm lame like that. I don't know. It just peeves the ever-loving crap out of me when people drop their stick when they get it and they get a slashing call. I'm like, dude, hold your stick, man. Come on.
Especially, and I don't know, maybe you would disagree with this, but especially I would feel like they're more called if they're near your hands.
That's more hooking. Hooking is more is more hand calls. Slashing is more like if you hit the stick, if you hit the hands, that can be a slashing. It's more of slashing is more of the action of slashing and hitting the person, and then slashing normally is only 2 minutes. But can be 5 depending on where you're slashing the person. Like if you slash the person like in the groin, it might be a 5 minute. Or it can be even worse depending on it. Like if you full on two-hand someone in the face, you're gonna get ejected. Like
if you do that, you're just an idiot.
You can't get away with two-handing someone in the face, or slashing someone like if I'm not going to say you're going to get a game misconduct from doing the groin one where you do the between someone's legs, because people have done that before and not gotten ejected. So that one's not really an ejection. That's probably a 5 minute, if not just a 2 minute, because it's hockey. You can get away with some stuff. It's got to be really bad for you to make a 5 minute or a game misconduct, but it can be. And then
I think I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen a 5 minute slashing. Personally,
I have. There's actually, oh man, actually this could be wrong. I could be wrong here, so I don't want to say it, but if memory serves correct, I think the infamous 2019 Sharks Vegas Golden Knights Joe Pavelski call was a 5-minute slash. Let me check. Hold up. What? Yes, I'm going on this tangent. I don't care. What was the call on Joe Pavelski?
I would also argue that that's like one of the more like easier penalties to see. Like,
also,
if it's near the hands, Dylan, yeah, it's probably more hooking depending on the actual motion. But like, I feel like slashing is pretty easy to pick out.
Okay, I was wrong. It was a 5-minute cross check. That's what it was, and it was to the face. I'm pretty sure, which is why it was 5 minutes. That makes sense. Okay. Oh well. Sorry, I thought that was a slash off the top of my head. So yeah, I don't know if the last time I've seen like a 5-minute slash either, but like,
if it looks like they're playing with lightsabers and they get hit and then they drop the stick, it's probably a
they
slash.
start lumberjacking each other. There's probably a couple suspensions coming, maybe more. But yeah. Well, that does it for all of the Bison games. That's our rule corner. That's our standings. We're looking good. We have games upcoming. We got a game tomorrow against the Tahoe Night Monsters. I don't know if this episode will come out today or tomorrow, so when the Night Monsters game is, but we have a game against the Night Monsters today/tomorrow. What else? I'm looking for our schedule because it's not showing itself to me.
If you're a real one and you're still here, hit the subscribe button.
Oh yeah,
we appreciate you.
Seriously, we do very much appreciate. There we go. Schedule. Why did it take so long? Yeah, we have the Night Monsters tomorrow, and then Saturday we have at Cincinnati, and then at Kalamazoo.
Let's go.
So it could be a big weekend. Yeah, I would hope that we can get some dubs.
Oh, we're gonna get some W's.
Hope we get some dubs. It is on the road. I mean, obviously not tomorrow, but it's on the road against Kalamazoo and Cincinnati, and then the next games after that are both at Kalamazoo too. There's Kalamazoo, and then the 7th and 8th are. Oh no, the 6th and 7th are both at Kalamazoo, and the 8th is at Fort Wayne. Right, I forgot because we don't have another Bison home game after this Wednesday until the 20th. All of our games are away. But we do have some
dubs.
We do have some easier opponents though. We have the Utah Grizzlies, who are, if I am not mistaken, currently third to last in the standings. I'm gonna correct myself. They're 5th to last in the standings. Excuse me. But those should be a win at least. There, so
Cross your fingers.
Horns up. Well, that should wrap it up. It's gonna be the longest episode in a while. It's gonna be like an hour 10. Something like that.
It's all right. We had a lot to say.
We did have a lot. I mean, we haven't done an episode.
We're slacking, so we made up for it.
Giving you a little bit of an extra long episode. Hope it's worth it. Sorry we've been gone so long. Life is life, and such and such. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys whenever the next episode ends up being.
Ciao.
See you later.